I gave your Cowboys the props that they deserved and said the entire time that Cooper Rush was keeping the ship not only afloat, but right down the center of the playoff canal. And his stint as quarterback is what's keeping them in the playoffs pretty much. Because if he didn't perform very well, Cooper Rush, they might have They might have been part of this 9-8 trio of teams that were involved in that 7th seed. But be that as it may, they're the 5 seed. But going into these playoffs, with that performance yesterday, they looked completely
awful,
disinterested.
Terrible.
They looked completely out of it.
Trash.
And I am not going to sit here and say that's Mike McCarthy's fault. I am not going to say that. I'm not going to say that either. Mike McCarthy
didn't muff a punt.
He made a decision. I'm going to play my guys. Now, you could sit here and say that wasn't a great decision, or you're going to potentially get them injured. But the Cowboys have constantly done that. I don't know if that comes from the Jerry Jones top or what. Don't you remember Jason Garrett threw DeMarco Murray in a game where he had his hand surgically repaired and he ran it like 90 times? I think against the Jaguars once. It was really, and you're sitting there, what are you doing? Yeah. So I'm kind of used to that with the Dallas Cowboys, but he put him in there, and he put him in there. Another reason why maybe is because this is when, maybe it's old school stuff, but Dallas, Washington, when we grew up, I mean, it was literally Cowboys and Indians, okay? And so, well, figuratively, I think you get my point. But now it's Cowboys and Commanders. But when you go in their stadium and they just, are still cleaning up the bed from the previous week against the Browns, I mean, it's tougher to imagine a tougher week for the Commanders than, all right, we're going to start Carson Wentz instead of the guy that the team completely rallied around all year long and gave us a shot at the playoffs. We're going to bench that guy and put Carson Wentz back in because he had a really good second half against San Francisco. And we're going to just totally forget what Carson Wentz did previous in that year, this year, or anywhere else over the last 4 or 5 years. We're just going to go do that. And then the coach is going to be like, what do you mean we could be eliminated? Really? And then on that day, we're going to unveil a new mascot that that's a hog that the original hogs may still sue us over. Like, this is what we're going to do. And get eliminated anyway from the playoffs. And then go ahead and announce we're starting our rookie. It's tougher to imagine a tougher week for the home team. You should go in and beat the you-know-what out of them and say, we're going into the playoffs. We're the Dallas Cowboys, and here we come, Tom Brady. Or here we come, 2 seed or 1 seed. And after a while, we'll look at the scoreboard and realize that's it, but we're playing for pride. You saw what the Lions did last night. They had nothing to play for. The Dallas Cowboys had everything to show. Now, can they go ahead and flip a switch and go on a Super Bowl run? Absolutely they can. There's no question they can.
What gives you...
But they can.
What makes you think that they can do that?
Because it's football, and these things are crazier things can happen. Like the best team potentially coming in with the largest head of steam in the entire NFC is quarterbacked by the guy who got picked last in last year's draft.
Look, based upon what I saw, not to interrupt you.
No, good. I get it. You're the Cowboy fan. I know.
I don't dislike very many things more than I dislike the NFC East. To show up like that against the Washington football, no-show. That was. I can't even say what I want to say without getting beat here. But no, this team is just. They are who we think they are. Let's put it that way.
What do you need to win a playoff game? You need to go on the road, and what Warren Sapp would always say, you need to pack your defense, and you need to go ahead and give your offense a chance to win it. Pack your defense. Defense doesn't win championships anymore. They give you a chance. And what they can do is give you that chance. They've got playmakers all over the lot, and they got playmakers all over the lot on offense. And for some reason, and you could blame it on the coach that way too, but yesterday, McCarthy's like, you go play. Go ahead. Let's go. And they were just like totally disinterested.
Yeah.
And if they do that again in a playoff game against Tom Brady, they will be one and done. And then I think the coach will take the blame for it. That's it. They will. And certainly if they love Dan Quinn so much there and the Broncos are knocking on the door for him again, this decision could be made literally a week from tomorrow, a week from Tuesday. If they show up and just get totally curb stomped by Tom Brady in the same way that, wait for it, Sam Howell just did. And he's got some ability. That one throw that he threw to Terry McLaurin, I mean, and then he could run it into. Good for the Commanders. They should have turned him sooner, maybe. I don't know. Or if you didn't like Heineke, give it to the kid.
Yeah, they should.
I mean, that's kind of crazy. That's 2020 hindsight.
Yeah.
They should have stuck with Heineke.
Yeah.
But I'm glad they went with Howell. Good. What a great way to finish. You know who did that once upon a time? I'll throw it out there. I know it's not the same thing. Didn't the Chiefs one day just say, we'll give a little beak wedding to our kid, in week 17 at the time on the road. This is at home.
And that changed everything.
All right. Look, that was so wildly disappointing and consistent with their total inconsistency. And the only thing you can hang your cowboy hat on, Cowboys fans, is that for some reason this team seems to only respond when it's like, okay, Cowboys, it's a major test. Okay, Cowboys, it's time for you to show us against a team that we know can beat you. They respond to that. They respond to that more often than not. Well, guess what? It's one and done time now, and they're going to spend all week long hearing stuff like this. We'll see how they respond. Because Tom Brady versus Dallas, that, I'm telling you, being a former ESPNer, biggest game they've ever had in any, whatever you want to say about Duke, Carolina, or whatever games that they've had, whatever games that ESPN has shown on its air, nothing is bigger than the Dallas Cowboys in 2023 calendar year, coming off the year that they have and the hopes that they have and the team that they have, and Jerry Jones putting all of those hopes in this team that they are putting on the field against Tom Brady in Tampa in what could be his last game there or his last game ever or his last run ever on Monday night with Joe and Troy in the booth. This is the biggest setup for ESPN they've ever had.
It's going to do like $40 million.
It's going to be
those teams.
It's going to break it.
Awful yesterday.
Well, guess what?
Both of them were terrible.
Well, Brady was great in his three drives.
They pulled him.
So, I mean, he played awesome.
And did you see the look on his face? He's kind of like, I'm not used to this. What? Bill never did this. Bill ground me into the dust in week 17 back in the day. All right. I don't.
Are you going to pick? You're picking the Bucs, right?
Of course. I'll tell you now. I'll tell game day morning now, of course. Give me the lone wolf hat with Tom Brady at home. The Dallas coming in.
I would doubt that you're the lone wolf on
Cowboys
that
are 3-point favorites.
Well, I mean, obviously you're gonna. There's going to be a lone wolf, and it won't be you. I don't think.
Cowboys are favored.
Good. Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.